last time we got together, I basically forced you all to go to a mass ball with Buck, the spy master for the Elven Empire. And there was a certain amount of deep and meaningful discussion about politics and particularly hillfolk and nomad war situations.
Mm-hmm.
But you also went in costume, and that was quite fun and cool. Just to remind people, I believe Shining Star is a delightfully cute-sounding master witch. Christabel is a orange striper cat, and girl, I believe you would come as Lady Luck, the Corsair religious figure, including a large wheel of fortune, or ship's wheel. To set the scene at the wild and debauched party within Huck's sprawling mansion of pavilions and gardens and grottos and such like. Picking up in media res, as we were, the last thing I remember was that Christabel, having gone in search of possibly more important elven dignitaries or the Elf Queen, had instead bumped into Kezia, the Serpentine, who has been trying to make herself invade Christabel's personal space repeatedly.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that.
And due to some relatively poor social roles, she was talking away at you while her snake Snuggles had made himself friendly. I don't know, herself, possibly, getting friendly with you. I was going to ask Rod if this felt like a good time as the Ophidian eyes of the snake look into yours to try your control spell, but only if you want to. So I'll leave you to think about that for a moment if you want.
It'd be an interesting time. Since I think I just flop down on the floor, as far as I know when I do it.
Yes. Okay.
Am I wrong about that? I thought
that's a good question.
I had the impression that you were out of your body.
Let's have a quick look.
And I don't know what this snake can get me. But it would be funny. So
snake cooties.
Snake cooties. A new perspective on rats taste like.
My reading of the spell description is that in some contexts, and depending how you wanted the spell to work, and therefore depending how much it would cost, it may well be that it's an out-of-body experience.
Oh, you can actually do some, I wanted to do some stunts and be in both bodies at the same time. Extremely difficult.
Unless, it's really quite open-ended. But if all you wanted to do was get a sense of things the snake has experienced and known about and what might be going on, that would probably not require that you have an out-of-body experience, for example.
Okay, I hadn't even thought of that, but yes, you have sold me on doing that. How do I do that?
It's of a piece with the range of various different things which let you control the mind or move or things or do stuff to various categories of things.
Yes, the spell's categories are extremely precise in just what nuance of you and the world is involved.
I have a whole table matrix thing I drew.
Yeah.
But what you can actually do is still relatively open-ended. It's just this can only affect non-magical animals. And for the purposes of this, humans and all other races are not animals. I know the biologist will already be.
I have already listened. I have to get over the word race, in the first place. So, which I still suspect is like this enormous ethical breach for the entire hobby. But
right.
And I will just at this point win that, despite having a demonologist who can control magical animals, there are no demons in the book.
Right.
I've been giving that some thought recently. Anyway, yes, if you want to just get impressions and senses and possibly memories, and who knows how good a snake's memory is, This seems a relatively minor magical effect. And since duration is not a question, then the better you roll, the more information you'll be able to get. So I'm going to say that's only going to be a 1 spell point spell.
Okay, so that means
you take 1 off your current skill score, and then you can roll. And usually the target will be passable or better.
Okay.
And it will in this case.
What is with these dice? Prepare for disappointment. Oh, wow. The trick is to use reverse psychology on the dice. I roll 100.
No, it's going to be a terrible party. Nobody's going to come.
Okay.
Well. I shall
check my
listen
magic
with great interest to to Snuggles' insights. Snuggles may well have been present at many a conversation or event.
Yes. Outrageous success. Everything you wanted. Looked good doing it. Unexpected benefits. So.
Star, we should be eating rats. They taste amazing.
Right.
Get away from that. Snuggles, get away from that woman. You don't know where she's been.
So, in what must be just a flash of insight, you see a whole cascade of recollections and images and things that Snuggles has felt important enough to remember in the past weeks, I imagine. Chief among them is his beloved Kessia, mournfully playing on her mandolin and singing away a song which I will let you recognize as the Ballad of Monstrous Outlaw, famously written by Sun Fox, and looking sad and mournful.
Wretched, derivative, sentimental tripe that he produced.
I have been trying to think of a good comparisons to who he sounds like, but I really can't. My knowledge of country music isn't good.
No, it's all Gordon Lightfoot.
Donovan.
I was going to go that way. Otherwise, he's been present in many tete-a-tetes between Kessia and a bigger and very confident-looking other Serpentine. You may making plans to expand their operations in the city, although Kessia, again, seemed uninterested and Snuggles' interest even less so. You have very good. Snuggles has very good recollections of a delightful visit to your Emporium Relaxacat and being
that's true,
delightfully treated there. So he's well disposed towards you. And indeed, as you come back out of these recollections, Snuggles is getting more friendly with you. Clearly, this has not traumatized the snake at all.
They do grow on you, don't they?
And indeed, Kessia seems has been not noticed your awesome spell magics, and has been chatting away. You realize she's still talking about some of the better places to hear hill folk or forester music in. One more thing.
Well,
there was also an image that Snuggles remembers because it's been Kezia's emotions were so strong at this point. You recognise it as somewhere back in Smith City, and Kezia is looking down into the back of a hand cart, and there's the body of an elf who you obviously recognise because you saw him, Sun Fox, in the back, and she's shouting at various Smith City law folk to say they have to find Fuji. Right. And as I say, Kezia is still there chatting away to you if you want to is that what you want to do next? We will move around to elsewhere in the party where Girl. I haven't given Robbie. I haven't given Girl an opportunity to get into trouble recently. So, what has she been doing at this party while they've been talking to her?
No, forgot to stand her in the tub of cement.
15 minutes later, after half the party guests are dead.
She hasn't done anything yet. She could have just been having a nice time talking to people. I can tell you who's there.
My notes were that at the end of our last session, we had spotted Ernest.
Oh yes, Ernest is there. Shining Star spotted Ernest. I think you had a bit of a tougher time doing that, but he is there, although in a huge, overly elaborate
draconian outfit. Yeah.
Yes. Last time I saw him, I believe someone had fallen over his tail, and he was having to apologise and such like. But he is there if you want to talk to him, or indeed not want to talk to him, or.
Well, and this happened. I think we were standing next to each other. That girl had noticed this figure in the draconian costume staring at us. I wonder, could I use a divination spell to try to assess Ernest's intentions? Like, try to figure out why he was so focused on me.
Yes.
And if he has,
you certainly can. Although you will first have to tell me what casting this divination spell looks like. I fear this party is taking a turn already.
Just remember that 100 that Rod rolled. There's another ends to that scale.
Yeah, I think the divination spell, when used in this way, I think it does require, some type of intent, eye contact, probably some gesture directly towards what it is the person I'm trying to divine.
Okay.
And probably some muttering that I would be doing to cast it.
So she's basically, it looks like she's trying to dance with him. Is what I'm imagining.
He's on the floor right now. So.
Does it involve the? Is it in any way substance resistant?
Yeah,
you are just a candy man, Ross.
I recall it was me who invented these characters. So I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, because I have, in terms of the kind of special plants,
tons of drugs.
You definitely got some lion herb you've been collecting. You can definitely use that if you wanted to.
That would be perfectly suitable, evidently, Ross.
Yeah, so I think I would take a little bit of the lion herb while I'm casting this spell.
Okay, cool. So you kind of want to get an idea of why he's interested and what his intentions are. This doesn't sound like it should be it's quite a specific thing, so it's not a really vague or complicated or like spell. So it will probably just be a 1 spell point cost.
Okay.
Take 1 from your skill and then roll the dice with the new value.
Let's see. I got a passable result.
Cool. Okay. Your divinatory impressions are of the face of Ernest that's peering out of the mouth of this draconian looms large in your mind's eye and turns a sickly green colour. Perhaps he's jealous of the rival spies who are getting in the way of him impressing Puck. And does he trust them? Suspicion and glowering countenances are taking over him.
So it's kind of the green with envy symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
Shining Star, are you there? Are you there close by when?
I was conversing in that room. I believe we were talking about Ernest together, so I'm pretty sure I'm in the vicinity.